I keep count of buses now, not the number of stops, the number of buses that arrive when they shouldn't. There's a bus that came for me on a night I can't find on any calendar. The transit office has no record of a Route 12 running past Ashford Creek after 11. I've called twice. Both times they put me on hold, and both times the line just goes quiet, like they've set the phone down and walked away from it. But I was on that bus. So was a woman in a grey coat I never got the name of. And so were 3 people who, as far as anyone can prove, never made it back into this world. I was 19, working nights at a print shop on Delway, closing the register, sweeping toner dust into a pan that never quite got it all. The last 12 ran at 11:40, and if you missed it, you were walking 4 miles home in the cold with nothing open along the way. I didn't miss it that night. That was the problem. The bus was emptier than usual. Just me up front and the driver, who I'd never seen before and never saw again. He didn't nod at me the way the regular drivers did. He didn't have the radio on either. Every other night that route hummed with call-in sports talk, low static under the engine. That night nothing, just tires on cold road. The woman in the grey coat got on 2 stops after me. She sat across the aisle, hands folded over her purse like she was praying into it. She kept glancing toward the driver, not out the window at him, like she was checking he was still driving the route she expected him to. I noticed the cold first. My breath fogged against the window glass, the way it does in November. Hers didn't. I told myself I'd imagined that. People tell themselves a lot of things at midnight on an empty bus, 4 stops from home, with a stranger's eyes on the back of the driver's neck. The bus slowed on Ashford Road where there's nothing. A shuttered gas station, a tree line, no stop sign for half a mile in either direction, and no shelter, and no reason for a bus to slow down at all. The driver pulled over anyway. 3 people got on. 2 of them wore matching canvas work coats, buttoned to the throat, the kind you'd see on a loading dock at 3 a.m. Between them they held up a 3rd man in a stained red jacket. His head hung down. His feet dragged along the steps like his legs had forgotten what legs were for, like someone else was doing the work of walking for him. Nobody said thank you for stopping. Nobody said anything at all. The driver didn't ask for fare. He just watched the doors fold shut and pulled back onto the road, and I remember thinking that was the wrong order. Fare first, always. Every night I'd ridden that route. And then not thinking about it again, because that's when they looked at me. Both of them, at the same moment, not glancing, settling, the way you'd settle into a seat you already knew was yours. I looked down at my phone, looked back up. They were still looking. The one on the left tilted his head, slow, like he was listening to something under the floor of the bus. The one on the right didn't move at all. Neither of them blinked, that I saw. The man between them lifted his face once, just barely, and for a second, I thought his eyes were open too, fixed on nothing, on the ceiling, on some point past the roof of the bus entirely. Then his head dropped again like a puppet with the string cut. I told myself I hadn't caught it right. The woman across the aisle made a sound low in her throat. Then, without warning, she spun around and screamed. She screamed that I was a thief. She swung her purse at me, shouting that I'd reached across and taken something while she wasn't watching. I hadn't moved an inch. I hadn't touched anything of hers. But she kept screaming it, louder every time, until the driver slammed the brakes and ordered us both off. Both of us, right there on Ashford Road. No streetlight, no stop marked on any map the city keeps. The doors folded shut behind us. The bus pulled away with its 3 new passengers still standing in the aisle, still turned toward the window where I'd been sitting a moment before. The woman stopped screaming the instant the doors closed. She straightened her coat, smoothed the front of it down, calm as anything. "You're welcome," she said. I asked her what the hell that was. She told me to look at her, really look. Then she said the 2 men in the work coats weren't men at all. She said she'd watched their eyes catch the dome light wrong twice. Flat, silver, like a dog's eyes in headlights. Once could be an accident. Twice was a pattern. She said their coats had no company name stitched anywhere, no patch, no logo, because there was no company they belonged to. She said whatever they were, they'd fixed on me the way something fixes on a limping animal at the back of a herd. Already decided, just waiting on the timing. The accusation, she told me, was the only tool she had. A driver will throw 2 loud passengers off a bus before he'll throw off 3 silent ones. She'd done that math faster than I ever could have, sitting there with my breath fogging a window while hers didn't fog at all. I asked how she knew. Knew about the eyes, knew about the timing, knew to get on that bus on that route at that hour at all. Knew somehow exactly which seat I'd be sitting in before she ever climbed the steps. She didn't answer that part. She just told me to go home, not to look back at the road, to stop thinking about buses that stop where there's no stop sign painted on the asphalt. I checked my phone out of habit. The time, more than anything, some instinct to anchor myself back into a normal night. It read 11:52. We'd been standing there long enough to walk half a mile down Ashford Road and back. The clock on my phone hadn't moved once, not a minute, not a second when I looked closer. I asked her if she'd noticed that too. She didn't answer that either. She just pulled her coat tighter and started walking, the wrong direction from her own house, she'd said once. Though I only realized that days later. I looked back at the road anyway, just once. It was empty. No taillights, no sound of an engine fading out, no hiss of brakes somewhere down the line. Nothing to prove a bus the size of a house had been sitting there 90 seconds earlier. Nothing at all. 3 days later, a maintenance crew found a Route 12 bus at the bottom of the drainage cut behind the old rail yard, 6 miles off its line, nose down in standing water that hadn't seen rain in weeks. The driver was still belted into his seat. The man in the red jacket was still in the back row. Both of them had been dead long enough that the coroner's report, which I was never supposed to see, but a friend at the paper let me, used one word twice. Inconsistent. Inconsistent with 3 days missing. Consistent, one line noted almost carefully, with something closer to 3 months. Necks broken clean, both of them, the report said. The kind of clean a fall down a drainage cut doesn't leave behind. And the kind of clean nobody on that crew wanted to explain out loud. Nobody ever found the 2 men in the work coats. Not a coat, not a boot print in the mud along the cut, not a name on any manifest, because the manifest for that run, the 1140 Route 12, in the driver's own handwriting, listed exactly 2 passengers boarding that night. Me, and a woman in a grey coat, who, when I finally went looking for her, had never lived at the address she'd once pointed to, 2 blocks from my stop, who has never, in 11 years, ridden that bus again, who I can't find in a single directory, obituary, or record anywhere in this city, no matter how many nights I've stayed up looking. Sometimes I think she was never looking for that address at all. Not really. Sometimes I think she was walking me away from something, 1 block at a time, until it stopped being able to find the 2 of us together. I still take that route sometimes, when I have to. I sit up front now. I keep my phone in my pocket, not my hand. And I never once let myself look too long at anyone standing near the doors. And some nights, when the bus slows near a stretch of road with no stop sign painted on it, I catch myself checking the window glass first, before I check anything else, waiting to see whose breath fogs the glass and whose doesn't.